We're back.
And we're back, Chevy. We are back on this historic occasion with the NGBN network down in Vegas, streaming live all day from Vegas, from Radio Row. And I'll tell you what, Chev, I've been loving watching the streams. I've been seeing tons of ex-NFL guys. Carrot Top was on here a little bit earlier, watching the guys have a blast. But you know what, guys? If you look behind us right now, we're not in Vegas. We did not transport our studios down to Vegas because we could not go. And I tell you what, as much fun as I've been having watching it, there's a little bit of that FOMO going on with me right now. I'm a little bit jealous.
Oh, there's a lot of FOMO with me going on right now, Sheldon. I you know what? Life and circumstances happened in the last couple of months for me and you, I guess. And you know, we had to pull the plug on our big plans, and we weren't just going to show up. We had a huge plan. We were going to take an RV. We're going to film our way down. You know, we were going to do an actual ride, and you know, watching everyone, like you said today on the network, it's been great. They've been holding it down. They've been broadcasting all day. They had 7 hours of live television on the NGBN .TV app on the Roku network. It's great. It's fantastic. There was names that Charlie Batch was on, Brian Billick, former Super Bowl winning coach of the Baltimore Ravens, was on. They had Anthony Munoz.
Yeah.
So they had a lot of people, and that was day one on Radio Row. You and I, of course, up here, but we're there in spirit. We're there in spirit. And tonight we're going to have a great show because we're going to talk Super Bowl. We're going to talk some of that stuff. We're going to have some of our NGBN friends on the show with us, joining us, telling us a little bit about what they're experiencing. I mean, last week was a big week for the NGBN network. We launched our sneak peek where you can actually, and we hope that if you're listening tonight, you download the app on your Roku, Android, and Amazon Fire devices. Any device you have, download the app. And that was a big week. But this is a huge week for the network. Our network, our comrades, our colleagues are broadcasting live from Radio Row. There are steps from the Pat McAfee show, the ESPNs of the world. All those big names are down on Radio Row, and our guys are down there at the heart of the action, capturing some stuff. So we're going to talk to them today, talk about the game, give our predictions. Of course, we got to talk the T-Swizzle. It's going to be a big week for Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. You know, big prop bet. Will he or won't he at the end of the game? Will he or won't he propose? I don't know. We're going to talk about all this stuff right here on The Ride.
All right, welcome.
Joining us. Oh,
you go ahead, Chevy.
You know what? We're always rusty, but it doesn't matter. Thanks for joining us. It's The Ride. I'm Chevy. He's Nasty. We're on the NGBN.TV network. You can find us on all the socials. We'll mention those later. This segment is brought to you by Dream, Reach, Achieve. Our buddy Bruno actually made his way down to Las Vegas. So Dream, Reach, Achieve. Bruno Lindia. Sheldon's wearing the ZBs, Bruno's Rock Band t-shirt, and Bruno's at the airport now. I see he's at the airport waiting to take the red eye. I think he's going somewhere warmer than Vegas because I heard the weather's not too good there. But Dream, Reach, Achieve sponsors our segment. What did we say? What did he say? We are buying Chris Rubio a cell phone, so we don't have to dial. Yeah, because Rubio said you could dial into his show. I don't think anyone dials into the shows. But before we start about this week's episode, we got to tie up some loose ends from last week. Last week we had Jeff Garcia on our show to talk a little bit about the 49ers, a little bit about Brock Purdy. He did a great job, and we thought he would be sort of the focal point of that episode. But as we left, and as people listened to the episode days, even this week after the show, the most feedback Sheldon and I got was about this damn McRib. Now, I told you I wasn't a McRib fan. We started the show last week about me tackling my hunger with a McRib at McDonald's because it was available for a limited time. I heard people talking about, people were just, celebrating the second coming of this burger. So I checked it out. It was good. I liked it. And, there it is. There's the McRib I had. Now, I got people texting me all week. Some people are not down with the McRib. Some people love the McRib. I got pictures in my phone of people's McRibs. It's like McRib pics in my phone. Don't send me unsolicited McRib pics, guys. It's disgusting. But Sheldon, you had an opportunity to try the sandwich. And
Yeah.
you told me you're going to save your review for the air. So let me see your beautiful face and tell us about what you thought about this McRib sandwich.
Well, first off, I was just floored the fact that you never had a McRib growing up, and I'm not sure if they didn't. It wasn't a big thing in Montreal if they didn't have it in Quebec because of Quebec gets certain things the English Canada doesn't get, and vice versa. But yeah, I had to go out there and try because I remember it as being an okay sandwich when I was like 10, right? But I hadn't even thought of having one since. And you were so excited. You didn't kind of like it. You're like, Sheldon, you got to get the extra rib. You got to get the extra pickles. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try it. And I went in with an open mind. And I actually got my kids to shoot a little video of me breaking down the sandwich and trying. I'm going to try to get it out on our Instagram and YouTube tomorrow. But for a spoiler, for those of you guys that are watching this live, I took my first bite and I was like, you know what, Chev? That's a solid 6.5. It's not bad. The pickles weren't even. Only half of it had pickles. It had these big chunks of onions, but I was like, that wasn't bad. And then I set it down and I came back to it like a minute later. I'm like, oh God. Well, it might be more of a 5. You know what happened to me, Chev? I love the first bite, but as the sandwich went on, it just kind of went downhill from there. So I cut off the second half of the sandwich and let the boys taste it. My boys gave it a 9 and an 8.5. So 5 minutes later, they're like, I never want to eat it again. So I don't know, Chev, it could have been the day. I think there's something to that rib sandwich though. And that's one thing too. If any of you guys are out there, especially those in a Calgary area or anywhere that Chevy and I travel, is the rib sandwich a big thing? I think it's got some real potential. I don't think McDonald's did a terrible job, but it's McDonald's barbecue sauce. I wonder what something that's fresh out of the smoker is going to taste like with a real, tailored barbecue sauce made from scratch. I think the rib sandwich is a good idea. I'm glad I tried it, but I think I'm going to wait another 25 years till my next one.
Mick Rubio, Mick Rubio just chimed in. He said, no one has ever eaten a McRib without getting some sauce on their shirt. Well,
it was everywhere.
It's no problem for Rubio because from what I heard today, before he got on the air, he put on a yellow t-shirt and then he put on a yellow sweater and then he put on a yellow hoodie over top. So Rubio, if you're eating a Mick Rubio, you don't have to worry about it because you get sauce on the first shirt, you take it off and it reveals another clean yellow shirt. But thanks for all of you joining tonight. Nana Amona, thank you for always being one of our big fans. We love having you along with the ride. Nana Amona, I'm going to tell you this right now. We've been warned that there is going to be no overtime tonight because the crew put in yeoman's work this morning. They were awesome, but they don't want to go past midnight. They need their sleep because they got another 7 hours of broadcast tomorrow. So if we're not doing overtime this week, we're going to try and keep it to an hour. MD and the chef are here, and they don't like our selection of McRib. Well, you know what? In the coming weeks, we're going to try and get a little healthier with our food talk. Maybe we'll get some healthy food takes. Maybe we'll get a healthy food sponsor so we can actually, take care of ourselves.
I think that's going to be the key because, like Jamin said, I think the real story is how that thing comes out. How does that story end after you eat that McRib? But I'll tell you what, Chef, we got a lot we got to get to today, and I'm very excited. We're going to have Brian Jodis on here coming up next from this Pick Up the Six podcast. He's been busy working down there all day, but it is not a Chevy and Nasty episode without the 300-pound poetry. So let's cue up that music. And Chev, let's see what you got for us this week.
All right, let's roll. With the music. Oh, no. Did you turn the music off? Wait, we got to cue the music. No, it's okay.
We got to feel it.
Okay, now I just had to feel it. It's like skipping rope, Mr. Jodis. I just got to know when to jump in. All right. Cue the music. It's time to rock. We are the 300-pound poets with our not-so-serious sports talk.
We couldn't make it down to Radio Row, but we got some NGBN mates on tonight joining the show.
What looks to be a contest between two well-matched teams. One, a Super Bowl mainstay, the other, slightly more green.
But this time the Niners got a slightly different look. A CMC and Purdy is all that it took.
To get back to this point, the championship game, will they have a different result or will it be the same?
The same feeling they had back in 2020 when the Chiefs won the Lombardi, the first of many.
Mahomes and crew look like they can't be beat. We think this Super Bowl will be quite the treat.
We're Chevy and Nasty, and this is The Ride. We know you still like us, even though we're kind of slightly offside.
Offside?
But not on the big downs. Never on a 3rd and 4, right?
No.
Never. Well, I had a few of those. The worst one ever was when Randy Straczynski, a long snapper, a wily long snapper like yourself, he used to have this thing where they let long snappers just pop their head up, and it was 3rd and 4. We're all was yelling, watch the fake, watch all this stuff, right? And I was the idiot lined up right on the long snapper that jumped offside. So it happens.
It does happen.
There's pressure. The pressure's real.
I don't think there's been a show on the network today that hasn't mentioned a long snapper. I think every show in every segment, there's been a mention of a long snapper, and we'll bring on Brian Jodas because he was there all day. Brian, can you confirm today that we've talked about long snappers in basically every show on the network today?
Well, listen, guys, first and foremost, bear with me. The general has some additional work to do, General Jenna. So we've given her the night off from engineering the show. Yeah. So I've jumped in for the reins. And so,
you've got R6 tonight, right?
Well, I feel like you're going to throw a couple flags on me in the early going here, boys. But great to be with you. The McRib is a sloppy mess. Listen, I'm from Eastern North Carolina. There's too much sauce, and nobody puts pickles. Pickles don't go on barbecue, man. So I'm glad you got to experience that moment together and really dissect it. And this is what we're here for. This is hard-hitting journalistic, news, food reviews. So Andrew Zimmer, look out, and all these other food critics. You guys are tearing it up. But man, it's been good. Been a good day.
We were responsible for the sale of at least like 15 McRibs last week though in Calgary. So our job's done here.
McDonald's. The guys at McDonald's are like, what is going on in Calgary? We're seeing record numbers.
They owe us, but we want to know. Yeah. We don't want to know what's going on in Calgary. We want to know what's going on in Vegas. So we mentioned at the top of the show, big week for NGBN, live on Radio Row. You got in last night. A couple of the folks got in Sunday, kind of trickling in. But today we went live, 7 hours straight broadcasting during the day. I caught some of it during the day while I was working here and there on my phone. It was fantastic. What's the experience been like, Brian? Super Bowl Radio Row, is it all it's cracked up to be in all your years of broadcasting? It's been 30 years, right?
Well, I went to go get some coffee and they were out in the media center, and I thought, this is just outrageous. But it's Vegas, right? Like it's a different feel. It's my first time attending a media row for a Super Bowl. I've covered a lot of incredible sporting events, Rose Bowl on that, Major League Baseball playoffs. But not a Super Bowl in those days as a broadcaster. And so to also be here on the front end of it and see the way everything sets up for the week, what's incredible to me is, both of these teams are here. They're here the entire week. So there's a lot that is at play for the teams. And then there's just so much happening, right? There's so much attention that is on this one singular 4-hour event when you really think about it, right? Yeah. From kickoff to the end of the game, it's this entire week. And then to do it in the entertainment capital of the world, right? Yeah. Las Vegas. It adds something to it. And so Media Row today was great, really packed, but there's still some more tables to fill out. So I assume that by Wednesday, Thursday, it really starts to get full in there. But you walk around and you see Hall of Famers like Anthony Munoz, see Coach Bellick, coach the Ravens. And then you see guys like just big names. And we had Carrot Top come by the booth today. Yeah, so it was beauty, right? That was big time football players, and then Carrot Top rolls in. So it's super eclectic while you're hanging out Media Row, and that's kind of the fun of it.
See, one of the things that makes it so historic is for decades the prevailing thought was you can't have a professional franchise in Vegas. Like I know even us playing up in Canada. Montreal is one of those international cities where you can get yourself in a lot of trouble. A lot of guys' careers have ended when they signed with that team. You're in Sin City, the first ever Super Bowl. Chevy, I know, like one of the things we've talked about is you always got those guys that that stick to curfew and follow the line. How much wiggle room do you think there is for these guys out here? Are the guys locked up in their hotel room at 9 o'clock every night?
Well, Sheldon, you mentioned Montreal, and this is funny. In 2008, with the Calgary Stampeders, we go with the Grey Cup was hosted in Montreal, so we flew into Montreal. We were playing the Montreal Alouettes on their home turf, which also happened to be my hometown. And the first day we arrive, we had a all players meeting, and one guy steps up who had come to our team from another team, and he lost in the Grey Cup. And he gave the big speech like, guys, man, we got to focus in. We got to be serious all week. Like he gave us the big speech of, you don't want to lose this moment, because if you lose it, you don't know if it's coming back. And it was a real, like, rile up the troops to focus week. And we had a curfew in Calgary, and it was funny because the first person to miss the meetings the next day, completely hungover, was said player. So I thought that was pretty funny. But when you think about that, like, we talk about men's mental health, and everybody copes with things in different ways. And we're going to talk about the game a little bit later, and the stories and the fun stuff. But here we are sitting on the biggest stage in the world. As Brian said, this is Las Vegas. All eyes are on this spot. And I would venture that comes kickoff on Sunday, when Taylor Swift arrives on scene, and I know not to overplay this, but we're going to talk about it. This may be the most watched Super Bowl ever.
Yeah.
This may be the biggest Super Bowl ever, just because of the carryover of fans they're going to watch for her. And the precedent's been set in the past. We've had stories where players completely lost their marbles. If we think back to the Super Bowl between the Broncos and the Atlanta Falcons a few years back, well, it was a number of years back. I believe, what year was that? In Super Bowl was the 33. Eugene Robinson.
Yeah, 1998-ish probably, right? Would have been about that time.
Yeah, I think so. He wins the Athletes in Action Bart Star Award for high moral character. And the night before the Super Bowl, he gets arrested for soliciting prostitution. And in that game, he allowed an 80-yard touchdown pass to Rod Smith, and he missed the tackle for a touchdown on a big Terrell Davis run. So this is, on a big stage, things like this happen. And then more recently, people remember the story of Oakland Raiders, Barrett Robbins. I believe it was the night before. Yeah, the night before the game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He goes down to Tijuana, goes on a bender, and really, from what I remember from that, there was a mental health crisis. But he was hospitalized for the game. He was their All-Pro center, and he's missing in the Super Bowl. And I mean, that center quarterback exchange is crucial. So when we talk about the setting this year, how insulated do you think these players are from all the noise? Because there's a ton, man. You got that big globe there. Blowing up the helmets. Like, I can't imagine the pressure they are on in that city in this moment.
Yeah, I can't speak to the protocols that the team's put in place. What we do know is that when we're at Media Row today, there's no players from either of those teams. There's no coaches from either of those teams walking around or a part of that. They've got very specific set times for their media availability throughout the week, right? Big events early in the week. The closer they get to the game, the less that you'll see and hear from those guys. So a lot of that happens on the front end. I'm sure the team puts a lot into place. And like you guys know, right, you don't need me to tell you, you can travel to Vegas. These guys have the resources to travel to Vegas anytime they want. They might have one chance to play for that Lombardi trophy, and to be able to do that, put the football stadium here is right there. I mean, it's in the heart of it, right? That new stadium where the Raiders play is right in the heart of things. So I'm sure the teams have a lot of protocols in place, but then that's when you probably rely on that veteran leadership to just make sure the guys are doing what they've got to do, and they got to stay busy with meetings. They've got enough distractions with their families and tickets and all of that. And then the last thing I'll say, boys, is, look, man, these guys have to know there are phones and cameras attached at everyone's hand. So you go anywhere, man, you fart wrong in Las Vegas this week, somebody's going to catch it.
Yes.
So just, man, keep your nose clean, right? Be ready for the big game, and get out on the other side.
But that the same goes for you, Brian, because I understand when we get a bunch of pirates in off the pirate ship and into an Airbnb somewhere just off of downtown Vegas, what kind of protocols?
The good news, boys, is 7 a.m. to 11 p. because you guys have a hard out at 11 tonight.
Yep.
Pacific. We don't have any time. There's no time for fun. I mean, we had a blast, right, at Media Row, but like, I got a sawbuck still in my pocket. I was going to put on Black 35 on the roulette table. Didn't even get a chance to play it. So listen, man, we worked hard. We had a great meal. We're back here with you guys. That's how we're going to keep ourselves in business this week.
Okay, so let's go.
That's Brian Jodas, everybody. If we pick up the 6, you guys got to make sure you jump onto the network on Roku or on NGBN.TV. Check this guy out. He has a lot of amazing guests. The work that you do with American veterans and special forces guys. I absolutely love your show. Thanks for joining us tonight. And so
I'll
now
be
thanks for
behind the
producing
screen if you need me, boys.
Yeah,
I'll be behind the screen if you need me.
Appreciate you, brother. You got our 6 tonight, man. Hey, guys, just a reminder here, we're going to try to keep this on the rails because we have a lot of guests lined up tonight. But just a reminder before we go to break, you can always check us out on our socials at Chevy and Nasty on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Guys, we appreciate the support. We appreciate you guys joining us tonight. And when we come back, we got a couple more of the Pirates joining us here on The Ride.
You're watching the exclusive sneak peek of NGBN TV. Like never before, streaming content for men is now available, with more to come. Join us on this journey as we introduce you to content creators and shows that are here to inspire, educate, entertain, celebrate, and support men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. We can't do this without you, so please enjoy this sneak peek, but also share it with your friends and family, and help us connect with companies, organizations, brands, or nonprofits who align with our mission to save men's lives. This is the NGBN TV Sneak Peek.
Are you a business owner or sales professional and want to build and maintain a peak performing premium pricing sales team? Are you and your team finding it difficult to work with clients you want to at the premium prices you deserve? The Professional Sales and Execution Certificate Program will dismiss the sales myths that have limited you and your team and stalled your complete company's growth. Learn all about our PSE secret weapons, including the 98.2 premium presentation that helps build a high-ticket repeat sales network. These absolutely dead simple secret weapons allow you and your team to be yourself and utilize extremely powerful ways to decide which clients you want to work with. If you're ready for a high energy and high power training session that will completely transform you and your team into the envy of your industry, simply click here and register and book now. Get started on your premium pricing high ticket sales execution journey now.
Well, that was good, Sheldon? Thanks, Brian Jodas, producing our show tonight. For the very tired Jenna, who is producing shows and doing work all day. We're back. It's The Ride. I'm Chevy. He's Nasty. This segment brought to you by WeDrone. If you're joining us tonight on YouTube, Facebook, or on the NGBN.TV network on Roku, Android, and Amazon Fire, thanks so much. Keep the comments coming. Keep them flowing. We love you too. We have a great lineup tonight. Sheldon, where do you want to go next?
Jamin D writes in, and here's the thing about the Canadian football fans, folks. The biggest event in the world is taking place, and I got a guy here saying Bombers upstaged the Super Bowl today. Yeah, baby. What was that, Jamin? Was that the they signed Oliveira, the all Canadian running back? Is that the story that's obsessing Canada right now?
Well, actually, Sheldon, I think what Jamin's referring to is that yesterday, when the media night, Travis Kelce was asked about his relationship with Zach Collaros.
Oh, you're kidding. I didn't see that.
Yeah, who was the CFL all-pro quarterback for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And, Zach Collaros was also seen in the box with Jason Kelce and Taylor Swift and Mahomes and all them in the Bills game. So they're good buddies. And I guess there's a story there. I wasn't keeping track of it that Travis Kelce had to pay the electrical bill for Collaros because Collaros didn't have any money. So yeah, something like that. But yeah, they kind of got some time. The CFL got some time on Radio Row. But guys that were on Radio Row tonight or today all day was two of our good buddies, friends of the show. One is the host of the show that comes on right before us, and that's AC Sports Live, Anthony Cobbs, joining us from the NGBN house, and of course, the man in yellow, the host of the Rubio Method in decades. We got yellow and green coming together from us. Yeah. AC, you look like you're ready for bed with the blanket. Are you guys going to be snuggling? What's going on there?
Long day, man. It's been a long day. But I had to stay up for the ride. I had to.
Well, I see you drinking some of that brain juice. Who was that guest I saw you on earlier today? It was a free safety. Was he with the Vikings? Played 12 years. 12 years.
One good year with the Eagles.
Oh, geez. What year would that have been? When was a good year for the Eagles?
1990 never.
Super Bowl year. You jive turkeys. You know
Well,
when
they
the good year
jive
was.
turkey.
Real quick, guys, real quick. I just wanted to say it was really, really good spending all day with you guys in Oh, that's right. You guys weren't there.
They weren't there.
That's my bad. I'm sorry.
No, we already talked about that. We have major FOMO going on. I was tuning in at different parts of the day on my phone. In the morning, I was working from home, so I had it on my TV. You guys look great. That yellow really like brightens up the room in the middle of winter here in Canada. But yeah, no, we're missing out. But I have to say, you guys are doing fantastic. Jenna, who produces our show normally, she's done some fantastic work behind the scenes, and we miss you too, Jenna. So guys,
No, you guys, honestly, you were very much missed. We've talked about it a lot. Ian, he's about 5 feet from me right now, basically dared me. He's like, "You're not going to say that to those guys." And I go, "I am. I feel like I have to, just be in full Rubio mode." But you guys truly were missed, and we looked around and several times said, "Yeah, Chevy Nasty would absolutely crush here. You guys would love it." You guys were missed. I will say that.
well,
So let's talk a little bit about what you guys saw out there today, because I saw some interviews with, like I said,
Didn't
Carrot
see
Top and
That's too easy. Man.
Wow, you just lobbed it up for him, man.
You know,
My God, you got
thinking-
four guys in a locker room right now. This is going to get ugly.
You know, pitch coach.
Yeah, It threw an EFIS pitch right at him.
I saw a couple 6'8" guys, and one of them wasn't nasty.
yeah. So what'd you find? Because AC, you spent a little time in the NFL, so you've but very few guys make it to the Super Bowl, right? And now as a podcaster, a guy that's following your teams, now you're here in the heart of the action. What was Radio Row like? Because a lot of the people that are watching and listening to us, right, like they were extremely excited for us that we were going to get to go down there. Because I don't know, is it like the Jerry Maguire thing where Jerry's walking his prospect down the hallway? What are you guys seeing out there? Who's the most famous person you guys saw out there today?
Well, today was Anthony Munoz.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just tough. It's a tough business. I mean, you can get big time by a guy you thought you knew, because I got big time a couple times. I thought I knew Antonio Pierce like the back of my hand. He was like, "I gotta go, bro." And I was like, "Come on, man." I saw Lou Williams in the back. I said, "What's up, bro? Good to see you." "Hey, man, how you been?" "I'm doing good, man."
It was great.
He didn't know who I was. I said, "Hey, look, man, you got 5 minutes?" He was like, "Man, I'm tied up, man. I'm here all week, though." And I gave him an NGBN flyer. He said, "Oh, man, it's mental health. That's all right, man. I'm gonna come holler at you." I'm like, "Booth 129. He's like, "Okay," and walked away. So we'll see.
And it was great because every time AC came back, like someone just shot his puppy. He just
Oh yeah.
That's media, man. That's just how it is.
and I just I poured salt in the wound.
Guess what?
and the good thing is I heard Rubio at one point say, he's like, "I don't know any of these guys. So
I don't.
I just watch long snappers." So Rubio is just the happiest guy. He's just happy to be there.
I wouldn't walk around the room without AC or Jodis because I don't know any of the players.
Yeah.
So if I just saw like a bigger guy, I was like, "Hey, is that someone?" They're like, "No, man." I saw another guy. He goes, "Yeah, that's Charlie Batch, or what's his name?
Charlie Batch.
Charlie Batch."
Charlie
And I go, "Who's Charles Swatch?" I go, "Who's that?" And he goes,
Sounds
"It's
like
a
Sheldon.
quarterback for Detroit or something like that." I go, "That number one, that's not how do you say Detroit."
Detroit.
Sean
Detroit.
Merriman's walking around. Lights out. Sean Merriman's walking around. He's like, "Who's that?" Sean Lights Out Merriman.
I had no idea.
San Diego football.
Let's put it to bed right now. We
He
got
had
four of
the
us.
commercial where they played Last of the Mohicans running downfield, taking everybody out in his way. He was the baddest pass rusher. Anyway, yeah, that's fine.
Never heard of him.
Let's put
But he
this
never
one-
snapped. He never long snapped the ball once.
Never long stepped the ball once.
No, but I want to put this one to bed because you guys had this one going on throughout the day. Is it Nevada? Like, what is it? How do we
Well,
pronounce it?
we've got Ian Hill, 5 feet from us. He says Nevada. 33 years. It's Nevada. We're not 100% sure because there was the people next to us were from London and they were talking weird. And you got Jenna, who I don't know what language she speaks. She was yelling at me earlier like 5 times. So
the Brits have a very bad sense of space. This guy kept walking in our shot. I thought he was going to tackle him.
Yeah, we needed your guys' size, strength, and McRib juice to take these people out.
You need some poutine.
No. You don't ever need poutine.
Okay. So let's get to business. We're here for Super Bowl. We talked about ribs. We talked about guys missing curfew. Let's talk about the game. What are you hearing about the game? Obviously, 2 pretty evenly matched teams. I mean, I'm looking at the stat line. The only difference here is that Chiefs defense. That Chiefs defense is second in the league, and that's kind of where I'm worried about. Offensively, I don't know, guys. The Niners look good. Like, what are you thinking? What are you seeing? How does this game go? Let's start. Rubio, what are you thinking?
The only thing I know is that the 49ers have my long snapper, so I'm picking them, and that's all I know. So I'm going to take it over to AC.
This might be National Long Snapper Day, because we've talked about long snapping in every single segment.
So fantastic.
All day long. So if nothing else, we brought some more awareness to long snapping.
As you should.
And if you want a scholarship, it's the position to play. It's a really hard call, man. It's really hard to go against Patrick Mahomes in a situation like this as an underdog.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you can have an underdog in the Super Bowl. Both teams are proving their worth. Spagnuolo beat the best team ever when they beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl when they were undefeated. And this is the same guy who knows how to draw up. I actually had the benefit of playing for Spagnuolo in NFL Europe. Steve Spagnuolo is the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So he introduced me to some schemes that I've never seen before. We went to the World Bowl, but we got out schemed in the championship game because we were being too cute and we didn't do our thing. But this guy is a mastermind. I like him a lot. However, I'm going for Brock Purdy, the underdog.
You got to.
The underdog of all underdogs. No one thinks he's going to, play well. They think it's going to be Christian McCaffrey. I think Purdy's going to get the Super Bowl MVP, and the Niners are going to win.
You don't think he gets too nervous being the Mr. Irrelevant?
It's over with, man.
You think he's going to be fine?
He wasn't nervous from the first time that he took on that field. And I've been an Iowa State guy. I watched him playing in the Big 12. I watched him go into Texas and play the big dogs, and you could not rattle the guy. He is a systems quarterback. They call him a game manager, which is complete BS in my opinion. He is he manages his resources around him in a very dynamic way. He's thinking, he's always 2 steps ahead of the game. And even as a rookie, he's always been discounted, right? Mr. Irrelevant, Iowa State, the lowly Iowa State Cyclones, and he's beating some major teams. He is not rattled at all by the pressure. And I think he's a perfect fit in the Shanahan offense.
But let me ask you this, Sheldon. Let me ask you this, guys. The last 2 games, playoff games versus Green Bay and Detroit, he gets off to a slow start. Now, Green Bay, we expected that they would win that game. It came down to the wire, but even with the slow start, we thought, okay, these guys are going to come back and they're going to take it. And it took the final drive of the game to get there and win it. Detroit took a commanding lead, and it wasn't until that third quarter where Brock started using his legs and making things happen, and then it opened up some of the passing plays. If Brock gets off to a slow start, if he can't dish the ball, if he's not making good decisions early, can they recover against the Chiefs? Now, when I look at the Chiefs team, this is not the Chiefs team from the last 3 years that when they come into the playoffs, you're saying, whoa. This is a Chiefs team that has a few kinks in their armor. And that's why I think it's more evenly matched than some people think.
Hold on. Let me take you back about 18 seconds. Did San Francisco win that game or Detroit lose that game?
Yeah, and I agree that you could look at it like Detroit lost that game because
kick the ball,
poor coaching.
I'll still argue that I came out kind of strong against that last week, Rubio. But the more I think about it, as that momentum swing was swinging back, they were getting production on first and second down. He was getting out in front of that. Was it the wrong call? Yeah, probably was the wrong. Kick the freaking ball, man. Your puncher, you've got a puncher for
3 scores. Go up by 3 scores. You change the momentum. He switched it the opposite way.
But San Francisco still had to execute and get down the field. And for me, it's not so much the slow start of Purdy. We had Jeff Garcia on last week. He talked about he didn't start the last game of the year. He then had a bye week, and that's really hard for a young quarterback playing against defenses that are dialed in on the playoffs, where you have an entire week, your entire life is about dialing in to stop that offense. So I get that Purdy had a slow start. You know what I was worried about? What happened to San Francisco's defense? You know, against the Packers, that was a slow start. They got eaten up. That passing game, that's what's worrying me right now is what's he going to take to get that Niners defense back on track. Bosa showed the defensive line started getting after it a little bit, right? Last week, the secondary started figuring things out, locking it down. But what's going on with the San Francisco defense? Do they have what it takes to stop Mahomes?
As soon as the D coordinator stops using his pride as his thing,
Crutch.
double team Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Get him out of the game. Make someone else beat you, and you have a great shot at beating him.
I'm not a football guy, and I don't understand. Like, they're throwing to him. Like,
ball.
Ray Charles can see you're throwing to this guy. Why are they not double teaming him?
They go and they carry
Yeah, exactly. Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles are high-fiving, saying we're going to throw to Kelce, and we're the only two that can see it. What's happening here? I don't get it.
That's not smart.
I just love how Rubio produced 1,800 long snappers to the NCAA and the NFL, and he says he's not a football guy. I love that.
I'm a long snapper guy, and I watch the Seahawks. Very, very specific. I like the Seahawks. Go Hawks. I'm interviewing Walter Jones tomorrow. That's a huge, huge interview. And I like long snappers.
Okay,
The rest of
there
the
you
team,
That's how you become great. You pick your thing. You stay in your lane.
It's almost like niche broadcasting. Can you think of a network that's done niche broadcasting? Can you think of something? Oh my!
I don't know.
NGBN.
The NGBN network, network for men in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. That's where you find us. That's where you find AC Sports Live. That's where you find the Rubio Method. That's where you find Decades, the other show that you host. We're here tonight. We're talking a little bit of Super Bowl. We're going to move on from the actual game, but let's get go around the table. Let's give our predictions for the game and who's going to be the hero of the game for the team you choose. Sheldon, start with you. Nasty.
You want me to make my call right now?
Yeah, for now.
It's it's a hard call. Now I've got a dog in this fight, right? Because you know when you come from, I didn't go to UCLA, right? I didn't go to school. I went to Iowa State, and one year we went like 110 and whatever. So to see the resurgence of that program and Brock Purdy, and I've watched him really closely the last few years. I think we're starting to see a quarterback with a coach, kind of like we saw with Brady and Belichick. They are so in tune with each other. He's got so many weapons around him. It's hard to bet against Mahomes, but I think that I think they have enough weapons and enough answers for that badass secondary of the Chiefs. And response to the blitz that they're going to be able to use those weapons. I think San Francisco is going to win it. It's going to be within a touchdown. They're going to put up over 30 points. But I'm calling the Niners.
Rubio.
I'm going Niners because they have my long snapper.
And he's going to be the hero of the game, of course. He's going to snap a touchdown.
Obviously. That's
AC.
I'm going 34-31 Niners. Purdy's in.
There you go.
Niners. Okay. Jonas joining us.
Yeah, I had to come back in. With 1 minute to go, Patrick Mahomes gets the football, drives the Chiefs down all the way, connects with Travis Kelce in the corner of the end zone for the go-ahead score. Taylor Swift is quickly escorted to the 50-yard line, in which Travis takes a gigantor ring, went to the knee, took out a ring, and said, "Marry me."
Oh my God!
Is that what you do?
Story.
Is that what you do?
Story.
Oh,
man. Story.
Jonas is on East Coast time, and he's been up for like 37 hours straight. So he might be a little delusional right now.
Listen, a guy with 8-year-old and 12-year-old daughters can only dream that scenario plays out because they'll lose their minds. My kids will lose their minds if Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce get engaged at the end of the football.
I'm with you, Brian, and Sheldon and I in the next segment, Nasty. We're going to talk a little bit more about this fun stuff surrounding the game, but I'm with you, Jonas. I was thinking about that exact scenario. I would love to see that scenario. I think it would be hilarious. I think it would be awesome, but I have a rule. I want Brock Purdy to win. I love the underdog. But my rule is, since Brady retired, now you don't bet against Mahomes, and that's my rule. So I'm going and it might change between now and Sunday. That's the beauty of as things develop, maybe one of them gets hurt, maybe things change. I might change.
Wait,
right
no.
now,
How are they getting hurt, man? They're not even doing anything.
It happens.
Come on,
It
Chevy.
happens. It happens.
No
it
way.
happens. We could talk about that in the next segment too. But I know guys that have missed the Grey Cup because they were fooling around the day before the game. I was the sixth offensive lineman in the Grey Cup. That I was a defensive lineman and long snapper. I became the sixth offensive lineman for the Calgary Stampeders because one of our guys messed up his knee the day before the Grey Cup playing O-lineman bocce ball. So people can get hurt, okay? People can get hurt.
You get hurt. You deserve to be
So
hurt.
I'm going with the 49ers. We're probably going to have to get out of here because they said no overtime. Guys, thank you for joining us, all three of you knuckleheads. For anyone watching tonight or picking up our show tomorrow morning when you wake up, you can catch these guys. They're live on Radio Row. They're the flagships of the NGBN Network's presence at Super Bowl, and they're doing a great job. They did an awesome job today. You can catch them. They've got 7 hours of live broadcasting on the NGBN.TV network, on YouTube, and especially the apps that you can download on Roku, Android, and Amazon Fire. Guys, thanks for joining us tonight on the show. Get some sleep, get some rest, and you guys are awesome. You're welcome anytime.
Thank you very much for having us. Starting 9 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time, NGBN TV.
Awesome. Let's take a break. And when we get back, Sheldon, we'll talk a little bit about the stories around the game, some of the prop bets, some of the, we got to talk about Taylor Swift. Joe just brought it in, and it you can't avoid it. I know we got the thumbs down. There's people that are sick of it, but we'll talk about that stuff. We'll talk about a little bit more right when we get back here on The Ride with Chevy and Nasty.
You're watching the exclusive sneak peek of NGBN TV. Like never before, streaming content for men is now available, with more to come. Join us on this journey as we introduce you to content creators and shows that are here to inspire, educate, entertain, celebrate, and support men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. We can't do this without you, so please enjoy this sneak peek, but also share it with your friends and family, and help us connect with companies, organizations, brands, or nonprofits who align with our mission to save men's lives. This is the NGBN TV Sneak Peek.
So why don't we just go like radio silence here? We've talked over each other about 16 times this show. This time, let's just leave a little bit of a moment of silence to reflect on the greatness that we just heard from our last guests.
Oh man, you know what? Part of the reason I have FOMO about not being in Las Vegas is it's not about being part of the Super Bowl experience and the broadcast experience, but it's actually being with this network of people. And I take it to a little serious though. We joked around a lot, right? Like the NGBN network, it is a niche network. It's a network that's geared towards men in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. The mission is to save men's lives, to curb the alarming rate of suicide in men in our age group. And the group of people that we work with and are associated with, many of them we haven't met. We haven't had an opportunity to have a conversation with. We communicate with them through some different communication platforms, social media. We get on a meeting once in a while, but I think the FOMO that I'm having is missing out on the camaraderie and the time with Brian Jodis and AC and Jenna and Ian Hill. I was speaking with our good buddy Bruno, and you're repping his band shirt today. And Bruno was like, Bruno, it's his first experience with the network. Bruno hosts YYC Business Network, and he was live streaming from down there as well, Radio Row, as part of NGBN Network's coverage. And he just kept telling me how fantastic the entire, I guess for lack of a better term, cast and crew of the NGBN Network is. And I almost feel that envious that he got to meet all these people in person. And, you talk about the pirate ship, and it really is, it's a fun experience. And I'm glad that we made it as a network to Radio Row. It was a big deal, something that we were pushing for from September right up until January when we got the accreditation. And to be there and to see it all coming together, it's really cool, because not only are we doing some legitimate things, as the guys mentioned, with some legitimate NFL players and stars, but we're also forming that connection within our network. And that's amazing to see. And again, it was so great to have those guys on.
Well, and all work that
segment
goes on behind the scene. Like you're seeing some of these guys that are the mainstays of this network. And then you bring up names like Ian Hill and Jenna and all the people that are putting in this work. Like Chevy, 6 months ago, we didn't see an opportunity of going to the Super Bowl and actually broadcasting live. And that's what kind of hurts, because I feel like we've put in some of the work, and but I also wanted just to celebrate it with the teammates, right? The guys that really put in those long hours, right? Yeah. The guys that are just going around the clock. And it's exciting, and it's more great things to come. Like somebody just put it up there, right? Next year, Super Bowl's in New Orleans. Chev, I think next year we got a bigger RV, and we take some of our crew from the Great White North down there with us. And looking forward
absolutely. So if you're watching the show tonight, or you pick it up tomorrow on download, check out the rest of the shows on the network. Like they said, in one place, streaming 7 hours of content starting at 9 a.m. tomorrow. I believe that was Pacific. I wrote it down, 9 a.m. Pacific time till 4 p.m. You're going to get to meet all the different content creators and show hosts from the NGBN network, and they really do a great job. And tomorrow there's going to be more people out there. Sheldon, your wife just chimed in. Hello, she works for an airline. We are going.
Yeah, no, that's just that. I still like the RV idea, but yeah, Amanda is. I'm sure WestJet can get us down to New Orleans if push came to shove.
Well, sure. Speaking of working for an airline, Amanda, since you're the resident expert on airlines, maybe she could let us know if Taylor Swift is actually going to make it to the game, so that Brian Jodis can have his vision fulfilled. Because like, it is a side story, but if she makes it to that game, and I mentioned that earlier,
Chev, I'm going to step in here for 1 sec. Yeah. So I love the fantasy, and I love where Jodis is coming from. If I had 2 daughters, I would love that love story played out on TV. But let's get a couple things straight here first. First and foremost, after the concert in Tokyo, Taylor Swift is not taking an Uber to the airport to wait in line for 3 hours to get onto a WestJet flight to fly her to Calgary and then take a connector down to Vegas. She's got her own fleet.
You're saying that Amanda has no pull here.
Amanda can do a lot. She can do a lot, but she's not going to
watch what you say. She's listening.
Here's what's interesting. I read all the articles in the last week. I'm an aviation guy, right? I had my pilot's license. I love all things planes. She's got the plane to do it. She can get she can get there logistically. It's not a problem. But one of the little things that has come up is, I'm flying into Vegas for the Super Bowl. I'm flying up in a big jet. What am I going to do with my jet when I land? You can't park it at a gate. And every billionaire, every multimillionaire in the country and around the world is flying their jet in. And this has been a posted date for some time. All the luxury jet parking is taken at those little operating bases where you can land, get refueled, and park your jets. There's no slips available for that plane.
So what if she flies into California and takes a really fast car across the desert? Like, she could get there in 2 hours.
Is that a Tracy Chapman Grammys reference?
Yeah, fast car. Yeah.
I think more to the point is of anybody there that's coming to the game, she's going to be among the top like 10 in wealth. I'm sure they're going to find a place. If you're Taylor Swift, unlike flying with WestJet, I'm pretty sure that they're going to find a way for her to just like take that plane and maybe just taxi it down and drop her off at the stadium, right? They're going to find a way.
Maybe she'll parachute in, just like. So let's get to the point. I mentioned this earlier. Do you believe that if she's at the game, this becomes the most watched Super Bowl in history? I got to think. Brian Jodas brought up his daughters. My girlfriend's daughter said this on the phone while I was on the phone with Brittany the other day, and it was very funny coming from the mouth of a 10-year-old. She said, "What did she say? Taylor Swift doesn't need the Super Bowl, but Super Bowl needs Taylor Swift." And I thought that was hilarious. And she's not wrong.
We talked about that before. The NFL is in its glory days right now. It's never been bigger. The football's never been better. Between quarterbacks and sports betting and pools and all that, NFL's never been in better shape than it is now. But there's only one influence that's possibly even bigger, and that is Taylor Swift bringing over all the females and the Swifties. That is huge. I have friends shooting me tonight sweatshirts you can buy in my neighborhood Facebook group. Says I'm cheering for Taylor's boyfriend.
Yeah.
And that's a real thing. And you hear all the haters saying, "Oh my gosh, she's eating up all the airtime." And yeah, we are talking about it because this is a once in a lifetime kind of phenomenon. She's not getting more than 30 or 45 seconds of airtime per game. She's not taking up all the oxygen in the room. But
can I tell you guys something? We're having dinner the other night, and my daughter said, "Who are you pulling for in the Super Bowl?" I said, "I'm kind of pulling for the Niners." Guys, you would have thought I punched an animal. Like, you would have thought I took a nice little kitty and I just punched it in the face. Their reaction. When I said, "I'm kind of pulling for the Niners," they said, whoa, Dad. It's not Taylor's we're for Taylor Swift in this house.
Yeah.
He said, "Your mother's from Philadelphia. You guys pulled for the Eagles a year ago. The Chiefs beat your team a year ago, yet you'll turn coat." They said, "Dad, we're
Taylor. We're Team Taylor.
We're Team Taylor." So you get on board.
You know what I'm hearing here? This is all I'm hearing. All I'm hearing is that Brian Jodas loves overtime.
Let's go, baby.
That's what I'm hearing.
I'm here.
Brian Jodas loves overtime. So this is what I'm going to say. Let's take a little break because we got a break for the network. It's the first time we get out on time. And because Brian Jodas
we got 7 minutes left here, dude.
No, it's I see 56. Well, how much time we got, Brian? I want to make sure we're out on time.
Technically, you have 3 minutes.
Oh, we have 3 minutes. All right.
Okay. So
I got so much to talk about, but
you know what? We don't have to talk about. You know what? We'll leave it up to our producer. What do you want to do, producer?
He's going to cut straight to the
have
extra.
a great rest of your show.
So we got 3 minutes left, Sheldon. Okay, so we talked about Taylor. Jodas come in, tells us it's the biggest deal. Oh, Rubio wants overtime. So what do we do? Do we do overtime? Jodas,
no, he's messing with our producer right now.
Yeah, right. What was Jodas saying? Jodas says we're going to OT. So Sheldon, we're going to OT.
Poor guys.
We got 2 minutes. Let's give our last thoughts on Taylor Swift. Then we'll go to a quick overtime segment. And we'll make all the people happy because I know Nana Mama is so happy. So you wrap it up on Taylor Swift. Is she making it to the game? Rubio wants overtime, and then cut us to our commercial. You got the last word.
Well, I got the last word. I still just can't believe you just put us into overtime.
Well, it wasn't me. It was Jodas and Rubio. Everybody wants overtime.
And Nana Mona. I actually like this story because one of the things I want to talk next about some of the big halftime shows and what's going on right now with Usher coming in. I love Usher. Usher's great, but it's not one of the epic storylines of the Super Bowl. I think we needed the Taylor Swift storyline because I think it's only accentuated it. And to know that there's going to be another 2 billion Swifties following this game that know nothing about football, that know nothing about where these guys came from, but I'm with her. I think it's just going to make the game interesting. It's going to be the most watched television event since Elvis's first live broadcast when he broadcasted 5 billion viewers when there's only 6.5 billion on the planet.
Well, there you go. Listen, let's take a break. When we get back, overtime, you know where you can follow us at all the Chevy and Nasty socials, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. We're here on the NGBN TV network, Roku, Android, Amazon Fire, and soon to be Apple. We get back. It's overtime. Let's rock.
What's up? My name is Chris Rubio, and I'm the host of The Rubio Method on the NGBN TV network.
Focus. Focus up.
Long snapping and life are very, very similar.
We have a great show that's going to educate you, inspire you, and most importantly, entertain you. I say most importantly because that's what I really want to do. And we're just kind of going on this journey together. And I'm going to make sure as we go on this journey together, you're going to have a good time while doing it. So check out the Rubio Method on NGBN TV.
We'd love to have you join us on the MD and Chef Team Show. I'm Chef Michael, culinary nutrition expert, and I'm joined by my beautiful wife, Isabel, medical doctor and suicide survivor.
Yes, I was dropped into that world 10 years ago. And what I've come to understand is that we're focusing on the wrong thing, the downstream event of mental illness. We should be focusing upstream to prevent the downstream event. And that's what we do.
So come join us on the MD and Chef Team Show.
You know, I know it looks like I forced overtime, and I know it looks like you don't want overtime, but I know you love it. And
I got more to say. I've got more to say. I really do.
I know you do, but I'm pretty sure that when Brian came on with about 2 minutes left to airtime, he was ready to go into a 10-minute speech. I had to cut him off, but I wanted to let him go because I was like,
yeah.
They told me at 7 a.m. no overtime. 7 a.m. they said, Chevy, no overtime. And here they are. Everybody wants to jump in. Everyone wants to jump back on.
Listen, I don't know if you ever see Jodis in person. He is an intimidating specimen. I mean, he looks like he can handle his own. And he came in. First thing he said to us when we got when we got into the studio, boys, no overtime. In his North Carolina draw, right? No overtime. Yeah, so I'm kind of happy that we won him over, right?
I don't know if that was a North Carolina draw. I think that was a New York, New Jersey Italian accent.
No, yeah, well, that's where
it's
he's
a little
from,
bit about both. But okay, so we're here. It's overtime. Again, if you're joining us and you're staying up late, thank you so much to all our night riders and early risers. This is The Ride. I'm Chevy. He's Nasty. We're on the NGBN.TV network. It's the network for men in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. And we want to save men's lives. And if you're up at night today, you had a good day, you had a crappy day, hang with us. We're your friends. We want to hear from you. We have resources in the network to help you. Today, I saw commercials for the F3 network that is partnered with the NGBN. It's a free network for men. We could put you in contact with them. It's based on exercise. They do free workouts. You join them rain or shine, and every exercise session ends with a circle of trust. You're going through stuff. We know you are because we went through stuff. Everyone listening went through stuff. We know what being a middle-aged man is about. You got a lot going on. This is the network for you. We don't judge. We just want to be there for you, and we want to help you. And you know what? Some of us want to be here a little bit longer. I mean, I'm committed to the cause for just a little bit longer than an hour, Sheldon.
And Jamin in Calgary, originally from Winnipeg, keeps bringing Caleros and the Bombers back into this whole thing. Does Caleros get invited to the wedding? Well, first off, Jamin, we don't know if there's going to be a wedding, right? Travis came out in his podcast this week and said, hey, you know, it's just things are good. We're having fun right now. Things are working. You don't have to put pressure on it. Now, if they do get married, yeah, I'm sure that Zach Caleros will be invited to the wedding. But anybody that's been in that booth is going to get that private invite to the wedding. But do you know who's not going to know about that wedding? Who? Us. Chevy and Nasty are not going to be briefed on when and how that happens. In fact, that's one of the things, Chev, is everybody's talking about, does he get down on his knee and proposes to Taylor if they win the game at the Super Bowl? What are your thoughts?
I think he does. I just think it's perfect. She won 4 Grammys for best album of the year. Like it's a record. They're going to win. They will have won their 4th Super Bowl if they win on Saturday or on Sunday. I think it's a perfect match. But you know, the prop bet on the wedding for me, as you were talking, I thought about this.
Yeah, how'd that turn out for him, Jamin?
The prop bet that I would say, if Travis Kelce gets married to Taylor Swift, and we're talking about this, my prop bet for the event is, does Jason Kelce keep his shirt on for the entire wedding? Yes or no? I'm going to say, I'm going to say after we saw what he did there, that shirt is not, that was not his first time he took off his shirt at a party, right? Nobody takes off their shirt
for the first time at a party once. Once you've done it, you're now that guy that takes off your clothes at a party. I used to remember Scott Coe. Remember Scott Coe? We used to sneak out and play pool with him from time to time. And by the end of a pool game, his pants were always down around his knee. And he was like, oh, sorry, was that me, guys? Sorry, my pants just fell down. It's the same guy every time that takes off his shirt. And so I would say definitely Jason Kelce will lose his shirt. However, what I'm going to say is this. I think when you hit a certain level of celebrity, like Travis Kelce said it, it's kind of weird. They can handle it, but every show, every podcast, every newsreel is talking about, he hears his name more than he's ever heard it ever before. And it's a little unnerving, right? He can deal with it. But do you think they really want to do this publicly? I think they enjoy the fame, but do you think they really want to go and make their wedding and engagement public?
Yeah.
Are we going to get invites?
I don't know. But you know what?
I think they won't.
I'm gonna roll this back towards the game, and I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna say whatever is happening with Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, we're gonna see it when it happens, and it's a fun story. It's a great story. It's got people talk. It's got all eyes on. Put it this way: if Taylor Swift wound up going out with a player in the CFL, that would be a huge boost. Right. So it's taking eyes to that game. It's taking the eyes to them. And what I think it does is it takes a lot of pressure off the rest of the Chiefs. The amount of questions that they're getting, like Travis Kelce's been there. He's a performer. You saw it all season. He feeds off this. He plays better. Last week, he had 11, or last game, he had 11 receptions.
Yeah.
He loves this. He eats this up. And he has taken the pressure off his teammates, because I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to tell you one person that's very thankful about this Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift dynamic and how it's played out in the media. Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes' dad was arrested this week, or pulled over on driving while under the influence. And if Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's relationship was not in the picture, that would be the story of the week, and he would not be able to get away without answering a question about that every 3 seconds. And instead, I haven't heard much about it.
It hasn't. It came out that day as a headline, and that was it. I read the headline. I didn't even read the article.
Right.
I meant to. Right. I meant to get back to it and see what the story was on that. I thought about it.
But then you saw Taylor Swift won her 4th Grammy for Album of the Year, and you were like,
and then relaunched her next album right afterwards.
Yeah.
Right. And then Jay-Z's. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So it's taking the heat off the team. And that's a good thing, because, Brock Purdy is answering questions about being Mr. Irrelevant still. He's still got a lot of pressure on him. Mahomes is escaping a lot of that this week because of the story. So maybe, if anything, that storyline is actually helping the Chiefs. But let's hold on. Let me jump on this one sec, though. Let's not forget about who's the tight end on the other side. Jason Kittle. No, George Kittle.
Or George Kittle. What about his wife? How's she feeling about all this? He's a huge personality. You ever see them cut to him during a game? And as you're cutting to the huddle in the middle, you've got the camera zoomed in on the huddle, and there's always Kittle looking right at the camera, making a face. He knows exactly what camera's on him at all time. He likes the limelight too. And his wife, he says she's like the ultimate badass, and she always has been, but nobody's talking about her. I watched them during the press night last night, standing next to Kelce, and I think he's the one that's kind of getting not disrespected, but he's getting no airtime. Yet he's been one of the biggest personalities and one of the biggest performers at the tight end position this whole year. I am sure that Kittle and his wife are sitting there saying, "Babe, we're going to steal the spotlight on Sunday night."
It could very well be. In fact, he's had a great season this year, not just catching balls, but also blocking selflessly for Christian McCaffrey. So there's a lot of storylines to play out on the field there. And I like that you brought that in. Let's go to some of the prop bets that we're finding about the game. Let's just give some picks. So Sheldon, we'll go to some prop bets that are up there. We'll just say, what you think is going to happen, because this game is huge and there's a lot going on the field. You can bet on all kinds of things. Sheldon, coin toss. Is it going to be a heads or tails? And what would you pick?
Well, there's only one choice for a coin toss.
Heads.
Nobody picks heads because it's never heads. It's tails.
It's always heads.
Heads is unlucky. Heads is like the I'm going to take the obvious choice of heads. No, nobody picks heads in a coin toss.
Tails is the ass. You don't pick the ass. You pick the face. Okay, let's go. Coin toss winner. San Fran or KC? Who do you think is going to win it?
Don't know. Don't care.
I think KC's going to win it because they've been there before. So they obviously
there's a lot of experience that goes into winning the coin.
They know what they're doing. And you know what? I'm going to give a big shout out to our buddy Rob Evans, who's joining us tonight. Rob that flashed a comment up on the he's driving home. He's a 911 dispatcher and also a fire chief. So he, part-time, full-time 911 dispatcher and also fire chief in Redwood Meadows. We're his unwind, you know, and when you're a 911 dispatcher, that's a stressful job. When you talk about the things that men hear, you know, in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, Rob Evans is living that every day when he takes a call, and he never knows what the next call is going to be. And to have him here joining us, it's actually an honor for us to be his go-to place after a stressful night. So, Rob, I know you join us every week. Thanks so much for being here. But
and I'm going to step in now too, because I completely
go
agree with you, and I feel bad for laughing right there. But I'm going to ask you guys watching and writing in right now to class it up, because right in the middle of that beautiful, you know, recognition of what the first responders are going through, Jamin D jumps in and says, "Depends on the ass, Chev. Depends on the ass."
Well, I'm not even going to go there. We are in overtime. It's late at night.
You know what I want to talk about. Let's step away from the prop bets for a while.
Okay.
So this is going to be the most watched Super Bowl of all times. But one of the things that I really, really have enjoyed, I really do enjoy Super Bowl halftime shows, right? And this year's Usher, and it's like Usher's awesome. I can't wait to see the show. I'm sure he's going to bring in some guests, and it's going to be great. But he's not the big headliner that you would expect to see. He's sort of that thing where in the CFL when they bring in Trooper, you know, you want somebody that's super current and super on. And it got me thinking about what is it that we're looking for? And it got me thinking about what were the best halftime shows that I'd ever seen. And Chev, I'm going to ask you that. What is your most memorable halftime show you'd ever seen?
Well, I don't remember a lot of the ones from when I was a little kid. So one of the ones that's listed as like one of the greatest halftime shows, I'd be lying if I signed off on that and say, oh yeah, Prince was awesome, because I don't really remember the Prince halftime show, nor do I remember Michael Jackson, but just those two artists.
Chev, that's all you needed to say was Prince and Michael Jackson.
But I didn't see them. But I didn't see them. So what I'm saying is I can't list them as mine, even though their list is up there. You know, U2, huge. What was memorable to me, and I don't know why, it wasn't the best halftime show, but it was pretty damn good a couple of years ago when they did Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem.
That's on my list too.
I like that. But the thing that was most memorable for me of that whole performance was Fat 50 Cent dropping in upside down, singing from this, like he just kind of like he appeared and he had like a really big face and he was rapping upside down. I didn't get that part of it. But that was a real memorable one. You know, The Weeknd a couple of years ago is kind of
okay. It was okay. Let me so now, since we're in overtime and I don't know if anybody's even watching anymore, let me tell you why I love the Michael Jackson and the Prince shows.
Go ahead.
So when you watched, Michael Jackson was now that I think it was at the Rose Bowl that year. It was like bright, right? It wasn't close to dark yet at the halftime show, but he was one of those guys like Taylor Swift, bigger than anything else on the planet at that time. You would almost think you would never get Michael Jackson at the Super Bowl because he didn't need it. Now, his best years maybe arguably in the 80s kind of passed, but he's coming back with his new Decades tour. But at the start of the halftime show, they had this amazing pyrotechnics, big screen showing him, and they poofed him up on one end of the stadium from the big screen. Then they poofed him up from the other end of the stadium on the big screen. Then they poofed him out of center stage, and the fans are screaming because Michael Jackson is so big. Even if he hadn't come out with an album in 8 years, you get excited about what he's about to do. And you know what he did? He's so big during the Super Bowl halftime show. He took 2 minutes and he just stood there and stared. 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Before he broke into "It's My Jam" and Billie Jean and did the moonwalk. And it was a most amazing show ever. It was in I can't remember. I think it was 93. I think it was Dallas Buffalo. was a game. It was a horrible game. Dallas blew out Buffalo. But that it was a memorable halftime show. Now,
was he the most memorable Jackson halftime show? Because we had Janet on.
Yeah, that's
there it is,
like,
Janet Jackson. Did you have it?
Yeah, and Timberlake and
wardrobe malfunction.
I didn't love that. I'm a Disney guy. I don't always need the edge. I like the pure, clean, simple, epic. And
then you liked Katy Perry in the shark suit because that was weird, but that was very Disney. That was weird.
I don't know if that was Disney.
I don't know what that was.
But you brought up Prince, and Michael Jackson was not my favorite show of all time. Prince, did you ever see the Prince show afterwards? So they were playing in Miami. It was dark and it was pouring rain. And again, Michael Jackson wasted 2 minutes of airtime by not even singing a song. Prince got up there and he started singing Foo Fighters songs. He started singing everybody else's songs. He didn't bring any guests, but he sang Jimi Hendrix and he sang the Foo Fighters, and he finished it off by singing Purple Rain in the rain. And I just read today when I was looking up on it that when the stage came out, they broke a power cable, one of the power cords that went to the stage. A lighting guy grabbed one end of the cord and the other end of the cord and held it together in a rainstorm throughout the entire performance.
Man, that's cool.
That's commitment to excellence, man.
That is commitment to excellence.
That's memorable.
No, I appreciate that. So I think it's going to be a great halftime show. Okay, question. I know this is probably impossible. We talked about Taylor Swift attending the game. Is there any reality, any world where if she attends the game, she's made plans to appear on stage singing, or is that's like way out?
She's too big for that. That's why I was surprised that Michael Jackson even did the Super Bowl. There's some artists that are bigger than that. And I think she's one of them, right?
I don't know.
And would she want to be a part of it? Would she want to be a bit part of the show and steal the distraction from the Chiefs? Because she's also a human being, right? She knows that would be a bad move of her to steal this.
You know what was a distraction? Your pose. And AC wants to see you do that pose again.
Which that pose was that?
Prince pose. Do the Prince pose. Come on.
I don't even remember what I did.
You did the not the Prince, the Michael Jackson pose. The 2 minute stare down pose. There you go.
Yeah.
You gotta hold it. There you go.
Yeah,
that's nasty.
That's super nasty. Yeah,
that is nasty. You're nasty. I'm Chevy. This is the ride with Chevy and Nasty. Everyone that told us not to do overtime winds up telling us to do overtime. We are men of the people. It's 16 minutes past the hour. We're going to go on for a few more minutes here. We're live on the NGBN.TV network. You can find us on Roku, Android, Amazon Fire. You can find us specifically at Chevy and Nasty on all your socials. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. We love being here each week with you. We got some regulars here tonight. Nana Mona says that she's going to walk out with Usher, in her opinion. AC had a little joke that was provided to him courtesy of Carrot Top. I believe it said 70,000 people in the stadium and only one Usher.
I saw that. I liked it. That was awesome.
Sheldon, Nasty, Rubio says your pose might be the next cover for everything. I'd like to see Rubio do that pose in the yellow hoodie. I think that would be very good. But let's get back to the game. Some of those prop bets before we go, because there's some good stuff there. Right. There's some really good stuff, and I want to continue down. First coach or team to attempt the coach's challenge. Who do you think is more likely to throw that flag?
Oh, that's Kansas City. I think we're going to be seeing that from Reed. I think Shanahan just likes to play it. He's just going to play the game out as much as he can and have as little impact personally as he can. That'd be my.
This is a weird prop bet. Let's talk about this for a second. Opening kickoff returned for a touchdown. Is that even something you can bet on anymore? Like, there was the Chicago Bears. Devin Hester opens up the Super Bowl versus the Indianapolis Colts, takes it all the way for a touchdown. We're like, oh, the Bears are going to win. They wound up losing.
Prop bet. Oh, I see. No, you're right. Well, that's plus 5,000 though, right? Like,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, have the rules changed so dramatically that can't even be like unless
kickers
unless the kicker unless the kicker blows his Achilles in pregame warmups and the long snapper has to kick and potentially shanks a 30-yarder.
What if the long snapper messes up the opening kickoff snap?
There's no snap on the opening kickoff.
See, that shows you how much I watch long snappers. Like, what the hell? We're talking about long snappers every segment. Opening kickoff return for a touchdown. No, not going to happen. But here's an interesting thing. Will the first play from scrimmage result in a first down? Because remember, that first drive is scripted.
Yes.
Right? It is completely dialed in to test the other team, to kind of poke and prod and see where the weak points are and understand what adjustments they plan to make to you.
I'm going to go further and say the first play from scrimmage will result in a first down. And it's going to, either team, I think, is going to be a play action pass to their tight end. I think it's going to be the opening play of the game, play action pass. Everyone's expecting a run. The 49ers are expecting Pacheco to get a touch early. The Chiefs are expecting CMC to get it. I think it's going to be a play action pass to tight end, and both those tight ends get a first down. How about this one? This one's good. On the 49ers front, who's going to get more receiving yards, Deebo Samuel or Brandon Ayuk?
Oh, that's a good question. Ayuk's been coming on strong in the second halves of the last few games, but what that tells me is that Deebo has not been getting a lot of touches in the playoffs, and I think that opens up an opportunity. I don't think you can keep him quiet for that long. Is it more receiving yards or more catches? More receiving yards.
More receiving yards. Gosh,
it's the plus 6.5 for Deebo. So obviously Ayuk's like favored. I'm gonna say Deebo because I think he's about to have a game-breaking performance. Right?
It could be. There's only one ball and so much talent on that side of the ball, but Brandon Ayuk has been coming in hot lately. And I think for the 49ers to win, they're going to have to get those chunk plays. And he's been giving that to them. He's been giving it to them late in the game because that's how they've been clawing back in the games, is chucking it up to him and him coming down with it. But I think he's coming into his own. Let's see what else we got. Christian McCaffrey.
Christian
McCaffrey. Anytime TD is getting
touchdown.
a touchdown.
Yeah, touchdown.
For sure.
I
don't care.
2 sacks.
Probably.
I think he's going to need to. Like, he had 2 last week. He had none the week before. If he's dialed in, if he's doing what it takes to win the game, I'm going to say yes. Travis, 11 receptions or more.
Not this game. He had it last game. So it's not like it's out of the realm of possibility, but I don't think the 49ers let him get that, leave him be for that much in the game. Rubio just chimed in. He said they had bet guy saw that Rafael Esperanza on the show today. He said they have never had a prop bet for a long snapper, and Rubio was disgusted. Rubio, I was disgusted too when I heard that. I'm going to tell you, no love for the long snappers.
Yeah, holders like laces out, right? There's been prop bets for holders, but
Travis Kelce, I don't think he's getting more than 11 receptions.
I think he's going to. I think he's going to be the one thing that they're going to find. I think we're going to see 11 catches. The question is, what's his yak going to look like?
And that's the thing. He's a yards after catch guy. He's a yak yard guy. I think when he does get the ball, he's going to chew up some big yardage, but I think they're also going to use him as a decoy to get some other guys free because, I mean, can you stop this guy?
Who knows? Yeah.
I think back to some players when it's like, well, you double him and he still gets big time yards. He still's going to get open. He's still going to get his catches.
I think Pacheco's going to get his yards, and that's going to open up Kelce because San Fran's going to have to put a lot of attention on Pacheco. First interception of the game. Don't know, don't care. That's a fool's guess. I'm going to say Chris Jones, defensive tackle for Kansas City. Will Patrick Mahomes throw an interception?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Between Brock and Mahomes, who throws more interceptions? Who do you think?
It's a good question. I really don't know. I would tend to say that's going to be Purdy. His discipline is going to be tested. He is going to have to push that ball downfield. And the Chiefs' strength outside of their blitz, like they love to get a team into passing situations so they can go to the dime package, get those stellar DB package on the field, and then blitz. Brock's going to have some pressure on him, and I can see him throwing a couple of picks in this game. The question will be, how does he respond? But I'll say Brock Purdy. Yes, he will.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Brock Purdy throwing my picks, but Patrick's going to have some heat on him with Nick Bosa. Okay, We'll get to one more prop bet and then we'll wrap this up. Will Christian McCaffrey's longest rush be for 18 yards or more? So he's going to break a big one. What do you think?
You answer that one.
I think so. I think he's going to break one big one. I think he's going to break one big one versus that defense. They paid him all that money. They brought him over. This is his time to shine. I think he's gonna carry the load for the 49ers. As much as we want Brock Purdy to be the guy for them, I think this is, if someone's doing it for the 49ers, it's McCaffrey.
And it's going to be on a second and long, third and long. It might not be a run. It might be a dump off pass, but he's going to play an impact when they start facing up against those passing situations. They're going to hit him underneath, and he's going to do what he does.
Okay, so we did our predictions before.
All right.
Does anything change from you?
No,
You still?
I think that we're about to see. I think we're about to see San Francisco and Brock Purdy launches the new storyline in the NFL in the coming years. I mean, Tom Brady's out. Mahomes is going to be here for years to come. No doubt, he's great. But I think we're seeing the emergence of a great young quarterback and coach tandem, along with an amazing team with a ton of weapons. San Francisco, and I'm calling it 38 or 32-28. It's going to be close, but it's going to be 30 plus points for the Niners.
Sheldon, as much as I want to see Brock Purdy do well, I love his story. Last year, this is actually our 1-year anniversary where we got back on the air. We did a show to kick off season 0 of Chevy Nasty, a Super Bowl preview show. It's our 1-year anniversary of that show. And Brock Purdy was in the discussion last year. I love that he's back this year and he's all the way in the Super Bowl. They have the weapons, but I just don't see them beating Mahomes' experience. The connection he has with Kelsey, if he needs it, it's there. And this year they have a championship defense, and
they do.
You can't understate the importance of having a defense that's one of the best in the league. It's the second best defense in the league, and that's scary for teams to go up against. Purdy is not playing Mahomes. Jeff Garcia last week, he's playing that Kansas City defense, and that's a tall order for a young quarterback. So, my heart wishes that Purdy would win it, but my head says don't bet against Mahomes. I think we're going to see the 4th Super Bowl for Mahomes, Andy Reid, and the rest of the Chiefs. I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a 42 to 30-ish game. That's my thoughts.
Late touchdown for Casey.
Yeah, that's what I think, but I think it's going to be a great game. That's all the time we have. We're getting the hook now. Brian wanted us in overtime, but now we're going to wrap it up. Thank you for joining us. I'm Chevy. He's Nasty. This is The Ride. We're on the NGBN network. You can catch us at Chevy and Nasty on all our socials, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. We love that you're here each week with us, and we love being here with you. We'll be back next week after the Super Bowl. We'll talk about that and some other things right here on The Ride.